Still Shadey is a mobile award-winning rapper with millions of streams and sold-out venues to his name.
Watch me, yeah, I can't wait to go heaven. I
just vividly remember a Sunday morning I was in a crack house, would have been like 18.
So what did you say?
A crack house.
What's that?
A bando.
In this podcast, we discuss his humble beginnings in Croydon.
Pain was normal, bro. It wasn't like my breaking point. It was just what I was used to. Someone can't change unless they desire to change themselves. Someone can't change unless they have something to change into, and someone can't change unless they have someone to take their hand and walk them through the change.
We discuss turning pain into purpose and paying it forward for the next generation. The full version of this conversation is available audio only wherever you get your podcasts. For now, enjoy an excerpt from the video version. I'm so glad again that you shared that sort of how things turned, or the sort of period that turned things around. Yeah. One of the massive fascinations I think I have, and this colors a lot of my personal convos with people, like one-on-one, is just how they turn sort of pain into passion, right? That's just always been, I'm obsessed. If you want to watch it, I don't, funny thing is, I don't actually like podcasts too tough. I don't like long form combos. Now, I tend to just like read and maybe watching documentaries. But if you want to get me to watch a podcast, show me someone that's turned just the ugliest, darkest, murkiest, whatever it is, thing they've gone through into fuel or motivation or perspective. Like people who've done that, I've got time for, because it's so difficult to do.
I love
but
how
also,
you put it like that.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I love how you're putting it like this.
Yeah, it's hard to do, but there's so much to learn in it. So I guess I would love you to reflect on how a lot of the stuff you do now, to what degree is it powered by what you've gone through?
Yeah. Where do you want to start, bro?
Well, what rises to the top when I say that? This
window that we're looking at here, I think windows is access to the world when you're looking outside. And I just vividly remember a Sunday morning I was in a crack house, would have been like 18.
So what did you say?
A crack house.
What's that?
A bando.
Gotcha. Okay.
Where drugs are distributed, manufactured, sold. So crack cocaine, heroin. So I was into county lines when I was 17. I ran away from home. And I found solace in this opportunity to just spend 3 weeks in a crack house. So I'd just been kicked out of school. I got if you want the full quick context, I was selling weed, got found in possession of weed in college. I was arrested on site. I walked out in handcuffs with a police officer. And as I was walking out, the head teacher said, "By the way, Luke, you haven't just been arrested today. You've been permanently excluded. Don't come back to this college." I sat down in that police van in handcuffs, not conjuring the fact that, bro, you're going to a police station, don't know what's going to happen. Wasn't thinking about these January exams that I'm not about to sit. All I was thinking about was the fear of going home and failing those that were at home, and the catalyst of anger that would have led to punishment and stuff. And consequently I ran away from home the next day, and I found solace in a crack house. So I was there for 3 weeks. That's where I learned everything about, just that business. And with everything that happened there, I just remember just sitting there one Sunday morning in the crack house, like through this window. I was looking through the window, and it was Sunday, and I knew it was Sunday because I just thought, once upon a time I would have been at church. And I was looking out the window, and I just remember seeing nothing, bro. Like it was daylight, and I saw the life moving, but I just felt nothing as I looked out. And I remember just thinking, rah, that's it then. Like, you're here, you're out the window, and for me, whose mind always ticks, I guess that was such a low blow in my mind and my soul for me to accept that nothing was out there for me. And yeah, so I have this like interesting like reflection that I've had occasionally with windows just now that you said that, and then I just looked out of the window, and it's not even really about looking out and seeing all the things that are out there for me now, because I can already see.
Hey there, just want to say thank you for listening or for watching this podcast. We have a great desire to grow this podcast, and one of the ways we're going to do that is if you listening follow, or if you are watching, you subscribe to the podcast. The faster it grows, the more guests we can get, but also the better the podcast gets. So please, just do me a favor, hit the subscribe button or the follow button. Back to the episode.
Things that I hear.
Yeah.
I'm not looking out there for something. There's so much in this moment that we're doing that just feels empowering, and just that juxtaposition in this moment to then is just a confirmation to just know that change is so possible. And yeah, and it's just something I deeply believe, to the point that it almost seems like a dream, bro. That I was once sitting in a ripped up couch that other probably 50 youths had sat in before I was even there, doing the same thing as me, looking at windows and didn't know what they were going to be doing next. That seems like a lie, bro. That's why I don't really like talking much about it. So, because I can only give you the education on it. I can't really give you that level of vulnerability there, cause I don't even feel like it was man. I'm a new person, I'm a new being. But I learned so many things there, from not showering for 3 weeks, living off chicken and noodle soup, like literally those things you get from Asda, the noodles, you boil it up. I remember boiling the surface with a kettle because I didn't want to touch anything there. I remember having to inspect the sofas that I would sit on, because there was this common idea that there could be like ripped up smashed glass or used needles that probably had bloodborne diseases on it. Like, these fears were just glamorized, you know, in those spaces. And I just think that was normal to me, right? It was just a normal thing. So for me, pain was normal, bro. It wasn't like my breaking point. It was just what I was used to. I wrote lyrics in the band though. Like I drove illegally at 17, like fear. I've been arrested, I've been stabbed, I've been shot at. It was just this normal reality to me that it took me only in my early, like my 21, when I started to realize, raw, just through my peers and the environment being so different now, that I was like, that wasn't normal. Shady, you get it. So even though I believe that now, it has conditioned me to just not accept like difficulty as an excuse, probably to my detriment, where I need to be a bit more compassionate to myself and others around me. But it's just weird, bro. Like, I fill up my diary. I'm a workaholic. Like, I go hard, like, because that's what you do.
Yeah. I mean, on that though, I mean, some people listening and watching this won't have experienced everything you've said. Yeah. And so we'll be thinking, well, how does he cope? Does he carry all of these things with him on a daily basis? Is he like, how is he
I'm free. I'm healed, bro. Like, by the grace of God, ultimately. But I did my hours, I did my counselling. I'm on my 3rd round of counselling. I have counsellors as friends, as peers. I have mentors. I have healthy brothers. Like, I'm actively in a different environment, and I've gone through the dark parts of my mind through music, through journaling, through journeying through my past and learning things. I talk about my story and my traumas at least 10% of every day, just because of the places and the work I'm in. Sometimes it can be tiring and frustrating, but I guess the balance is there. But as I said to you off camera, sometimes I think there is a time where you just close the door
for sure
on some things. And I'm guessing, I think with this album, there's one track called Art of Pain. And I think, I haven't said this out loud, but I think that might be the date where I'd say, okay, I've said all of this. I don't really want to talk about it.
Yeah.
But who knows?
I mean, the fact that you can speak about it openly as well for me is, I remember learning something that, what did someone say to me once? Well, you only really show kind of scars you've healed from. When scars are very sore, we tend to cover them, and we're kind of afraid of showing them. Yeah. There comes a stage where it's like a scab, and it becomes almost a victory mark to kind of be like, here's what I've been through. Yeah. Like I made it through, and I'm not there anymore. Yeah. Rather than it be something you're still nursing and a wound you're still attending to, say.
You saying that though, it triggers me to think about how I used to perceive scars, even still there. I love scars. I had a bar, scar on my back, why do I need tats? Like I just had this mindset that it was a victory. Like I earned my stripes, look at my scars.
Come on now.
And like, I don't know, like what is that? I mean, I think there's a level, if I'm being very brutally honest with myself, there was a level of championing my these bad things that have happened to me that a younger me didn't want. But I don't want to be too fairy on myself, because like, bro, I don't see like these scars taught me everything. I wouldn't be a man without these scars. They're my lessons. But I don't know, just you saying that.
Do you know what it is? So you got physical scars, which I suppose some people may not have because they've never been, say, stabbed. But then there's mental scars. There's a lot of emotional scars. There's things that people have gone through. Some people have gone through emotional abuse, like for years. And the truth of the matter is, whilst the wound is still fresh, we just typically want to hide it, right? We're not fully comfortable showing it because it's still something you're nursing. But you're right. Should we change, or should we be successful in changing the sort of narrative around scars, and it becomes something we champion to say, I made it through this? Then a lot of people would realize that a lot of people go through stuff that we just never see. I mean, obviously, I don't know when this will come out, but I remember watching just today Dele Alli, the footballer, and him speaking about his story,
scars,
right? And his scars. And I'm not saying you can't imagine it because he's a human, right? But I suppose you see a footballer and you just go, oh, from 14 you got selected to go to like some academy, you've been training with them, like what kind of life could you have? Then you hear his story and you go, oh my God, this person doesn't look like what they've been through. And I think that's most people, but we just don't create the space to show. And I think what you do so powerfully for your music, at least, is when you show your scar, you kind of inadvertently, legitimize other people kind of going, oh, like I've also been through this and I've been through that, which if anything can be healing for a lot of people to just be able to say.
And I'm so happy that you said that, Mike, because although I value that fact of even those influencers and individuals that we don't perceive to have gone through certain things, saying, look, this is what I went through. Part of me is wrestling with this idea that sometimes those are justifications of grace, where it's like almost, oh look, I've gone through this, and it's like, oh wow, they've gone through this. And I'm wondering if there is a level of just understanding we need to have as people where we don't expect them to be this rose tint, and we just kind of know, oh yeah, you're human, right? And is there a way, and I want to get this out, is there a way that we can just almost respect the flaws that we see in an individual and still navigate normally as we would? It's like we kind of need a sob story. We need it needs to be painful and unfortunate and bad for us to get it. Like, I don't want to, because now I feel like I'm at a place where it's not just because of what I've been through that now I am the way I am. Maybe I am the way I am. And it's just...
That's great. That's interesting, because that brings me on to a question I have for you, which it's a topic of great debate. So again, we're getting to know each other, but another part of my life, I was a musician for a long time.
I knew he was, man. This guy was rapping earlier.
And And no, music is life. I mean, I can't really
100.
express how much music is part of my life, but whatever. I've studied a lot of people musically, and one leitmotif or one sort of thing I see over and over again is this idea that great art typically comes from great pain. It's a shame, but it's the case that the best songs come from terrible situations, whether it be relationally or like family or heartbreak, and people who haven't been through a lot, people say that their music doesn't slap the same. So part of me wonders if you think, or what you think about this idea that, well, to achieve great heights, and let's just broaden it beyond music. Just if you're gonna go, super far, you're gonna kind of be super successful, your impact's gonna be, say, global or really deep locally, you have to have gone somewhere that most people just haven't gone. Do you think that's the case? And if that's the case, and there's someone listening to this who's like, I want to be successful, should they just be like, actually, you know what? Maybe I should just
I mean, I'm not about to say that. I mean, we know that some of the most impactful people in this world across all industry are broken, bro. Like, we just know that. Are we excluding them from as the top 5%? Like, are we saying they're the only individuals that can achieve that success? I need to go through the archive of all the other successful people that maybe are not broken. But we know that, right? Like, for me, music is spiritual, bro. It provokes an emotion that already exists in you. And if we're just thinking about the most powerful emotions, right? We're thinking about grief. We're thinking about, but we're also thinking about joy. We are. Like, that's why there's a whole world of music that just serves for when you just want to feel that, that great level of happiness, right? So I think it's both sides, but a lot of it is that ugly, it's that grief, it's that trauma, it's that vulnerability. And I think we all have it to a certain level, but some people that are if you haven't lived it yourself,
there's a sort of philosophical answer, which is that, to know what joy tastes like, that joy needs to be scored or marked against like deep grief. That's what makes it taste sweeter, right? So if you've always been happy, then happiness just is your normal. And so if you're a bit more happy, it's like cool. 100%. Whereas if you've been super sad, like battling depression, the borderline suicide, or you've had deep, then joy is it's so far away from your feeling that it's just much sweeter. 100%. So maybe that's what it is. I mean, I think it was Andre Crouch. I mean, kind of gospel composer, writer, singer, pianist. He once said something about sort of, what did he say? He said, if I never had a problem, so he's writing a gospel song. He says, if I never had a problem, then I would never know that God could solve them. I remember hearing that line and being like, that's so interesting. To know, like, if you're a Christian, to know God as like someone who solves problems, you have to have problems. 100%. And so it's like, to see him as a quote unquote savior, 100%. You have to. So I wonder if that's also part of it, that you just have to go through really tough times if you're going to be able to talk about
100%. And this is why, and I'm not to go off too much of a trajectory, but I really struggle with a lot of Christians that perceive this idea of pain and problems as such a distasteful reality, when that's the reality. That's the reality. And bro, how do you regard God as your savior if you're not recognizing what you've been saved from? Like, that's the whole basis of why we believe as Christians. So it's just idea of we should be able to recognize a lot of this pain. I guess it's now not glamorizing it is a big part, and how you access it, which is the kind of bittersweet journey a lot of people have with music, because it's like, a heartbreak song just slaps. You're singing it like.
There's a reason why Adele did so well in that first, everyone said,
first
never
run.
mind, I'll find.
You get me, like. So, and I guess that's a part of healing. If you're kind of singing, it's depending on how you perceive a lot of this topic, but you want to be able to say, like, I'm. It's not so triggering for me now. I can maybe not even reflect, but just flow off the idea that this is actually a deep song. So and I love that. A lot of the album we're working on has those very honest kind of spaces, and because that's what we all relate with.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
Just finding someone who can, just finding some company in our emotions, right?
Yeah.
Just finding someone who's been through it as well and stuff like that.
And I think there's a space for it all. I think it's about not even, because also what I don't like is just that one heartbreak artist that the whole album's just depressing, bro. What I mean? Like, we can't stay there. Though. You got those one hits, then you kind of need to give me the other vibes as well. Like, I don't want to get caught up, because there's artists like that, like where their whole production and the whole album base setup is just this one type. So I'm really keen on just being very honest and holistic in everything I express, the good, bad and the ugly.
Let's shift gears a bit and talk about some of the work you're doing now, right? And the music, as you spoke about. So probably should start off by asking, what's the impact mentoring has had in your life?
I mean, as soon as I had that transitionary experience in 2016, what actually kept me on this path of restoration was mentors. Like, it was people that came into my life and didn't only just like see these areas that I needed support with, they took my hand and they walked me through the direction of change. So I talk a lot about the 3 elements of change. Someone can't change unless they desire to change themselves. Someone can't change unless they have something to change into, and someone can't change unless they have someone to take their hand and walk them through the change. And what mentoring is, that final hand, right? It's not just about signposting and saying, hey, you could do this, hey, you should be a musician, hey, you should start getting into the gym, start boxing, that will help you improve. It's about actually coming in their life and walking them through that process and supporting them. God, Lord knows how many times I wanted to look back and take a previous route, right? So mentors were people that actually saw me, loved me for who I was, and who they saw me to actually be, and work through me in that process. So yeah, mentoring is everything for me. I have direct mentors, I have indirect mentors, people I just aspire to be like, who I value in all the different areas and compartments of my life. So in terms of marriage, in terms of music, in terms of life and just health, like all of these, I strive to have these individuals in my life. And I would say I have 1 or 2 great men in my life that have really been a blessing to me in that process. So mentors is a big thing for me.
And now you're mentoring other people.
100%. 100%. I think a lot of my life post 2016, I was doing it quite indirectly. I was just always an open book. I pulled people to me, but I think when I started to learn the actual nature of a mentor, like through the way people checked on me, sat me down, had those one-to-one conversations with me every week or 2, those kind of dynamics to mentoring kind of really showed me how I should be that mentor for others as well. But yeah, effectively now, those are the individuals that you just have in your life. So I have my little bros, like I have my young boys, like just people that I live life with. They're
Hey there, just want to say thank you for listening or for watching this podcast. We have a great desire to grow this podcast, and one of the ways we're going to do that is if you listening follow, or if you are watching, you subscribe to the podcast. The faster it grows, the more guests we can get, but also the better the podcast gets. So please, just do me a favor, hit the subscribe button or the follow button. Back to the episode.
Around me, they know my family, we break bread. It's a bit more informal. I'm not formally mentoring anyone at the moment, like that I can think of. It's just very informal brothers of mine that we just do life with each other, right? But obviously since September 2022 I have taken on this formal operation known as Ment 4, which is mentoring young people between 11 to 18 in Croydon, in and around Croydon. So that looks like essentially a charity that has mentors come in and work with a young person with emotional behavioral challenges and spend up to 6 months with them to do intensive support, one-to-one across that time. So Ment 4 is a big initiative that I'm passionate about currently. And yeah, man, it's a big piece of work. But just having individuals give time to these young youths is like, I think, priceless.
Yeah.
And what makes it so matchless is just the fact that time is expensive, bro. And realistically, no other professional other than a teacher, I think, can match up with the type of time that you give a young person. So yeah, meant for.
The other thing I was going to ask is, so like you, like I said, I can speak at length about the
impact,
transformative power, impact of having mentors in my life, but also people that I mentor and stuff like that. But I do know one thing I often get, and I've written a few newsletters on this, but the one thing I often get is people asking, well, how do you actually find one? You know, do you just go online saying I need a mentor? Do you email people? Like, how do you, because, and I didn't know this, but there's like a whole business sort of mentoring industry where you pay people, which I found so odd. I remember someone messaged me on LinkedIn. I don't really whatever, but I don't like that app. But someone, I probably shouldn't say that in case work might be LinkedIn. Never mind. But I remember getting an email, a LinkedIn message from somebody saying, you know, hey Mike, do you do any mentoring? How much do you charge? And I thought to myself, I felt kind of weird that they even asked me to like charge. Why would I?
I mean, I can't really relate with that model, because I didn't, all the mentors or the people I regard as mentors in my life, I didn't necessarily, the ones that I live, the ones that are actually physical, because you can have a mentor online. They mentor me. Like, for a long time I thought why is his name just come out? I used to see people online and think, oh yeah, they're like a mentor. Like, I just literally follow what they say, listen to how they speak, and just learn from them, right? But the people that are actually intensively in my life, I didn't find them, they found me. Just in my own experience. But yeah, so I can't speak to that model, but I think there's however you find it or they find you, what I can say is the nature of a mentor, it needs to be genuine, bro. It needs to be a genuine care. So if you can access that care whilst being paid, right? Then great. I'm not against that. For instance, the mentors that are working with the young people, they're getting paid to do it. Got you. All right, but they're there to. But
is it the young people paying them?
No, it's the referral agency. That can never be, that breakdown of, oh, we're only there for money can never. You're in the wrong job, bro. They don't even pay like that for that kind of form industry anyway. And why I would hesitate, I think someone have asked me as well, like, yo, bro, like, can you mentor me? And it's funny because one of my young boys that I have now that I am mentoring, he actually reached out to me first. But why I accepted is because we already had what is a key thing in mentoring is proximity. Like, he was from my area, from Adderton. I've seen him online. He's the same age as my little brother. I've seen what he's doing, and like, I've kind of just said, yeah, let's link up. Sat down with him, seen what he's trying to go, and naturally I was like, yeah, I'm going here this week, pull up. I'm in the studio, pull up. He's an aspiring musician, so there was a very organic things that I could say, yeah, cool, give him my time, right? But that proximity need to be genuine, where I can actually say, okay, I care, I'm accessible, you can just see how I'm moving and navigating, so you can actually learn. Yeah. Not just from my things I'm doing well, but my flaws, like that genuine space of my life can you see. So I think that's what I needed most from a mentor, and what I try to be for my mentees. And I think that is really it. In the, you know, if you're trying to find someone doing great things, you don't have to search much on Instagram. Like, everyone's posting all the great things happening in their life, but I always say distance creates distortion, and that if you want to really see somebody, you've got to move close enough to kind of go, oh, okay, I see how you're doing it. I see how, you know, case in point, you know, everyone talks about online being the CEO of this, CEO of that, and it's very much glamorized. You only have to ask a genuine chief exec about whether their row is woo for them to tell you
Are you like?
What? It's not, yeah.
It's just not what you think it is. Most are hanging on by a thread, or just about getting sort of through tasks. And I was telling someone the other day who was like, they were working with me. There was co-working here, and then they were like, "Oh, are you done for today? You finished all your tasks?" And I said, "Just to let you know something. I never finish my tasks.
Bro, come on, bro.
I never.
That thing waiting for you in the morning, bro.
And the funny thing, as I tick something off, 4 things come to mind.
Yeah.
So I was telling him that if you're going to run a company,
Yeah.
you have to find another way to derive pleasure other than like getting through a list of tasks, because you'll never finish.
Yeah.
So if your joy is at the end of the last task, you'll never have joy. So I have to find new ways and be like, oh, today, I did this. Today, today. Do you know, one week I was happy because I got to read at lunchtime, and I was like, it's a good week.
Yeah, bro.
And people were like, is that it? I'm like, mate, the fact that I got to read at lunchtime, it's a good week.
Yeah.
I shook someone's hand. I said,
bro, the psychology of being a CEO or just like a director or someone in a leading position is insane, bro. I'm actually reading this sick book right now called Why Do Businesses Fail? Why Do Small Businesses Fail? I forgot the author's name.
Hey there, just want to say thank you for listening or for watching this podcast. We have a great desire to grow this podcast, and one of the ways we're going to do that is if you listening follow, or if you are watching, you subscribe to the podcast. The faster it grows, the more guests we can get, but also the better the podcast gets. So please just do me a favor, hit the subscribe button or the follow button. Back to the episode.
But I'll send it to you. But bro, it just talks about the 3 kind of characteristics of every director, CEO, and they just talk about a technician, an entrepreneur, and a manager, and essentially you having to be all 3. And bro, it just quickly will dissatisfy you with this idea that you just go in just because you want to be your own boss. Like, that is, they call it the entrepreneur insanity. Like every entrepreneur is a bit insane when they first start. They just believe in this idea, but then when they get into it, there's so much more depth that you just don't want to do, bro. But you have to be okay with it, or get the managers and the entrepreneurs to help you. But bro, I didn't get into, I've been full-time since 2019, and I just knew there was things that I wanted to do that I wasn't able to do in this department of life that I was in, and that's all I knew. So now that I'm doing things that I want to do, I'm not against this idea to take on even a contract or role, employment, which I haven't, but I wouldn't be against that,
mate, because I say that all the time. I'll happily do it. Listen, if someone comes in and says, Mike, for 5 days a week, just come and relax and just do these, I will bite your hand off,
bro.
But that's another conversation.
But I think these are the conversations that a mentee would need to know the most.
This is it.
And if it's not that, then you probably want just like a life coach or someone just to help you. What's your goals? What do you want? And we'll help you with that. And I can give you all consultancy. Like, you just want that. But if you, that's what you're paying for.
Yeah. But if you want the real, if you want sort of nuance, you want the truth, that requires proximity, as you said, sitting close and, that sort of work. Well, I think obviously we're coming to an end, but it would be sort of wrong for me to sit down with you and not mention the fact that, was it last year was it last year or this year that you picked up your first mobile?
It came to me, it came to my apartment at, in February, but so just this year, but it was November 2022.
It's amazing. Obviously, it's a feat in and of itself. I think it's even more of a feat because considering everything you said today, right, where you came from, there's no way when you were being ushered out of school in handcuffs you thought, I'll bring a mobile to you guys one day. But
I haven't gone to that school. But I've gone to we've done 15 schools at least from the past 3 months. Just going, essentially we're doing like a mobile school tour. At the moment I picked it up, I knew that, all right, far, deep. You got to go back deep. So now it's just like going into schools and just like I've so many I'm so proud to say that over 500-600 kids have picked up my mobile individually, held it, said this is heavy, and I've said it is, and you'll be holding one too.
And how have they responded? I was gonna ask, as you've seen these kids, what's their reactions?
Bro, it's so cliche, but it's real, bruv. It's like they're like, for those that there's levels in it, because some of them just think, oh wow, this looks expensive, and then there's some kids that are like, what, this was on TV, like, and they're going, their eyes, bro, their whole, it's real, like, especially like primary school kids, like their world just looks smaller to them, like, yeah, man, it's just everything you would expect, like, it's hope, it's inspiration, like my desire, what I'm doing is inspiration. Like, I want to inspire, right? That's my why, to change and inspire how people feel and think. And like, I want to, it's just incredible that I get to do it even in just this one task.
Yeah.
To just go around to Croydon schools, in case anyone asks, like just to go and just give it as many kids that were in a situation like me.
So to go to the school, they have to have a tram that can reach there. Which rules out any school that's not in Croydon.
Just bro, if you're Croydon, Croydon schools know they're in Croydon, isn't it? I am doing other schools as well, but it's a bit more political. So, but definitely, if there's a school out there that's listening and they want someone in, please get in touch.
Here's how I want you to end our conversation. I want you to speak to younger Luke or younger Shadey, who maybe is 14 and things aren't quite adding up the way they should. What would you say to him?
Why, bro, this is even deeper for me, because I was looking at, that 11-year-old kid with his tie looking all tight, swallowing his neck not too long ago, and I just want to say I'm proud of you. Like, bro, like the fact that you're listening to everything that's happening around you and you're responding, right? Even if it doesn't feel comfortable, you're responding, your brain is growing. I'm so proud of you allowing yourself to go through that process, because everything that you're listening to, everything that you're seeing, it's not gonna break you, it's gonna shape you, and it's a part of the process. And I'm still learning that right now, and it's a beautiful experience. You're gonna see so much, you're gonna do so much, you're gonna learn so much, and you're gonna take it for granted. You're gonna take it for granted. So as much as you have in you, stop, look, and smile. Just smile, man.
Thanks for this conversation, man.
My bro.